Before we dive in, tell us, have you ever helped someone without expecting anything in return? Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. And if you're a fan of powerful love stories and unexpected life twists, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another tale from timeless Dora stories. Your support means the world to us. The sun was beginning to dip behind the hills of Silver Creek, casting an amber glow over the narrow country road. Tessa Grant was heading home from her third double shift this week. She worked as a nurse, and although she was exhausted, her spirit remained unshaken. Her playlist shuffled to something soft and nostalgic as her old sedan rumbled gently across the worn asphalt. As she neared the bend before the turnoff to her apartment, she spotted a car on the shoulder. It wasn't just any car, it was a matte black luxury sedan, clearly out of place this far from the city. The hazard lights blinked steadily, and a tall man in a navy blue suit was pacing beside it. Tessa hesitated for only a second before slowing down. Something in her gut told her to stop. Maybe it was her nurse instinct, or maybe it was just who she was. She rolled down her window slightly. "Everything all right?" The man turned, clearly frustrated, but tried to collect himself. "Flat tire. No signal." "So, no." She parked behind him and stepped out. "Mind if I take a look?" He gave her a skeptical once-over. "I appreciate the gesture, but I'm sure roadside assistance will get here eventually." Tessa crouched beside the wheel anyway. "Suit yourself, but you'll be waiting a while. This stretch has dead zones and barely any service." The man, later introduced as Rowan Cade, watched in disbelief as she popped her trunk, retrieved a small toolkit, and began removing the flat like she'd done it 100 times before. And she had. Years of car trouble growing up made her practically a roadside mechanic. Once the spare was secured, she wiped her hands and stood up. "You're all set." Rowan reached into his coat for his wallet. "Let me give you something for your time." But she shook her head. "Sometimes you help just because you can. No charge." Then she was gone, driving off into the falling light. Rowan stood there, holding his wallet, stunned. People didn't usually say no to money, especially when they recognized who he was. But Tessa hadn't. The next morning, Tessa was just finishing her coffee when she heard the sound of an unfamiliar engine outside her apartment. A black SUV. Tinted windows. Quiet but powerful. A knock came seconds later. She opened the door and there he was, Rowan Cade. This time in a charcoal gray coat, holding a small gift box and a faint, awkward smile. "How did you find me?" she asked, slightly amused and slightly concerned. "I have resources," he admitted. "I just wanted to thank you properly." She glanced at the gift, then back at him. "That's not necessary." "I know," he replied. "That's kind of the point." Tessa folded her arms. "You know, this is borderline stalker behavior." Rowan chuckled. "That's fair. Would you at least let me take you to lunch?" She raised an eyebrow. "No tuxedos, no private chefs, no rooftop views. Something casual. Your pick." "Fine. There's a little cafe across from the hospital. Tomorrow at noon. You're buying." "Hey, quick break, have you ever had a moment like this? A simple encounter that led to something bigger than you ever imagined? Drop it in the comments. And if you're still with us, don't forget to give this video a like so more people can find stories like this one. The cafe was warm and simple. Over mismatched mugs and cinnamon rolls, Tessa spoke about her younger sister, Callie, her pride and joy. "She's graduating this year." "Smart," driven. Already has college offers. That's amazing, Rowan said. She wants to be a lawyer, Tessa continued. But, it's just the two of us. I've been raising her since I was 19. School isn't cheap. Rowan listened, more intently than he expected to. The life she described was miles from his own. She spoke of sacrifice and survival, of grocery budgets and night shifts, of pride and fatigue. What about you? She asked. What's it like at the top? He gave a small, joyless laugh. Lonely. Competitive. Expensive, but not in the way you think. He didn't tell her about the billion-dollar empire he ran, the boardroom wars, or the private equity fights. He didn't need to. She didn't care. That night, Rowan found himself scrolling through his schedule, deleting meetings, and blocking out free time, with no purpose other than being able to see her again. In the days that followed, Rowan found excuses to visit the clinic where Tessa worked. He brought lunch. Donated supplies anonymously. Stuck around longer than necessary just to talk. One evening, as they sat on a bench outside the hospital, Tessa opened up. I used to have a dream, she said quietly. I wanted to open a community clinic. One that didn't turn people away because they didn't have insurance. What stopped you? Life, she replied. Bills. Callie. Reality. Rowan was silent for a moment. Then, he said, let me help you build it. Tessa blinked. What? I'm serious. Let's make it real. No way, she said, shaking her head. I'm not going to be some charity case for a billionaire with a guilty conscience. He smiled. It's not guilt. It's purpose. They met with contractors. Searched for land. Drafted a plan. Tessa was fierce about keeping it community-focused. Rowan was just as fierce about backing her up. Their connection deepened. Not with big declarations, but in small, steady ways, late-night blueprint reviews, coffee runs, shared silences. But then something changed. Rowan stumbled on a file while reviewing old reports. One document outlined a corporate restructuring his company had done years ago. Cutting funding to smaller projects to maximize shareholder returns. One of those projects. A free clinic in Northside, Tessa's former workplace. The one she said was shut down. He felt sick. The next morning, he showed up to the construction site early. Tessa was directing volunteers, clipboard in hand. Can we talk? He asked. She followed him to a quiet corner. I need to tell you something, he began. My company, it was responsible for shutting down the clinic you worked at. I signed off on the cuts. I didn't know. Not then. But I do now. And I'm sorry. Tessa said nothing at first. Her eyes searched his face. Pain flickered across her features. I hated the people who made that decision, she whispered. I know, he replied. I hate the version of me that made it too. She looked away, then back. That loss changed everything. But maybe, it brought us here. He nodded, ashamed but grateful. A week before the clinic's grand opening, Rowan's past came knocking again. Victor Lang, his longtime business rival, showed up at the construction site with a smug grin. You've been off the grid, Victor said. While you've been playing charity hero, I've been acquiring your company's board votes. You've got two options, come back and take your seat, or lose everything. Later that evening, Rowan told Tessa everything. So, she asked softly, what are you going to do? He looked at her. I don't know. I've built that empire my whole life. And what are you building here? She asked. Does it feel like less? The next morning, Rowan resigned from his company. He gave up control. And he never looked back. The clinic's opening day was bright, colorful, and filled with joy. Children clutched balloons. Families hugged. Volunteers wore matching shirts that read the Cade Grant Community Clinic. Tessa stood at the podium, voice shaking with emotion. This place is for all of you, she said. It's built on kindness, resilience, and the belief that everyone deserves care, regardless of their wallet. Rowan stood to the side, eyes glossy. His parents stood in the crowd, stunned and proud. Later that night, after the celebration had quieted, Tessa and Rowan sat alone in the empty reception area. I never imagined I'd be here, she said. Neither did I, he whispered. But I've never felt more whole. Their hands touched, fingers intertwining. No fireworks. No dramatic music. Just two people, finally at peace, finally in sync. What about you? If you were Tessa, would you have accepted Rowan's help, even after discovering his past mistakes? And if you were Rowan, would you give up your empire to follow something that finally felt meaningful? Let us know in the comments below, we love hearing your thoughts. And if this story moved you even a little, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who still believes in second chances. This is Timeless Dora Stories, and we're just getting started. Until next time.